Hi, I would like to talk to you about how to structure a training program. Today's learning and development world offers many possibilities. One way has to do with the format, a cohort format, a course-based format, or a hybrid. All those formats have their strengths and their weaknesses. It depends on what you want to accomplish, what is your strategy, and what are your goals really for the individual or for the group. This short video is designed to help you to decide what is the approach more suitable to you. The content presented here will help you to make that decision in how to structure this program. I would like to talk to you now about the learning formats. The first format is the course-based format. In this format, the course can be self-selected and self-paced. This is very appropriate for an individual, and it helps to develop their competencies and the skills that that individual needs. It is very practical for immediate individual growth, and it can focus on specific competencies demanded by your business or by the needs that that individual has. The second learning format is the cohort-based. The cohort-based format is when you get a group of individuals enrolled in the same program, meaning a same learning plan or in the same course as a group. Now the learners can benefit from interpersonal relationships. They can band together and take the course and complete some activities, some practice, some reflection. It also creates an efficient method for scheduling instructions and learning activities for a group. The group benefit of this is very rich in this case. Now that you have an idea about the learning formats, let's talk a little bit about the course-based. It really helps to meet individual needs. It is self-paced and self-elected. So individuals also can benefit for not having personality issues or conflicts that could happen in a group. And it's better for enabling prior learning and prior knowledge. It is more flexible because it's one individual and his pace. On the other hand, the course-based format has some weaknesses because it does not take the benefit from the social and the group learning. It also may take more time in administration because each individual needs instructor time and all the requirements that could be done in a group. It reduces a peer motivation because you don't have that support from your colleagues. It is also important to think that the collective knowledge of your organization is not built in such a strong way because each individual is processing the course in an individual basis. Let's talk about the cohort-based format a little bit more. In this format, people learn together, and usually that's better. It encourages progress. It builds a sense of community and belonging. It also reduces the administration and instructor time, and it creates that shared understanding. On the other side, there are some weaknesses with the cohort, and that is it could be difficult to address individual needs. Also, individuals that are passive or dominant may compromise the group dynamics. Power struggles may occur, and individuals with a mismatch in intellectual part or in the experience part may create also a difficulty for the group. It is important to think that a group format needs to be worked on. Cohorts are created, they are not just born. So you need to put some effort in that. So the group may be varied and change depend on your company strategy or what goals you are pursuing. Most cohorts share similar interests. You could have a cohort, for example, in the produce department, and when you use the online courses, to support this cohort and give the sequence of discussion, you can also blend on the job activities, or you can have group discussions or reflections. On the other hand, a cohort could be formed by onboarding members of your company. Those individuals come in and you have opportunity for them to learn together, to use an online course, to get mentoring together, and they can last just 2 months and then they move to their department. So cohorts can be formed in many different ways, and you can have more than one cohort in your company. Now let's think about the learning format in your store. So you may have a course-based format for an individual because where that person is and what is happening in this development. You may also have cohort-based. So you may have a cohort on onboarding for the people that are just getting in your company, and you may also have a cohort in the produce department or in the meat department. Those cohorts can be structured based on the group needs and also based on the development that you need for that department. In the cohort format, it is important to keep in mind some practices. The first thing, cohort needs a leader. You need someone that ensures that the mentors, the peers, and the instructors assume the responsibilities for the shared learning. It is a crucial factor that people are motivated and understand what is happening with the cohort. Do not assume that the people that need the most will take this course or will be part of the cohort. Sometimes the people that need the most, they will be the most challenging ones. You can increase the value of the training considering the prior knowledge, what happened before. Also, plan to work the content with the activities, with discussion, with what is going on in the group and what's going on with the store, and opportunity to reflect about consumer behavior and how that impacts your store. It's a good time also to think about where will that cohort meet? What is the equipment and policies around their cohort meeting? And finally, do never forget about giving this group feedback and encourage experimentation. In the cohort format, the context is key, and I mean the holding environment for a group. It is very important for the learner to have a positive emotional environment where there are opportunities to get feedback and where it's safe to get feedback and to connect with others. A clear structure or a process prevents the anxiety. When there is high anxiety, there is no learning. Also, a help seeker and a help giver both can learn with the process. Also think about spacing out learning activities. Cramming does not work in learning. Stimulate a shared understanding and a collective knowledge. Because when people understand together and they can see the process, they can see how things work, and there is a collective understanding of what's going on in the store, really productivity can be enhanced. Another idea for the cohort format is to integrate a curriculum. When you integrate a curriculum or a learning plan through the life of the cohort, you are creating opportunities for the course to be blended with the practice or procedures of the store. Blending is very important for learning. You can combine modalities or instructional approaches, and this means that the course really can build on activities that an individual is doing in the store. When you cultivate learning from others or from a work challenge, it also proves to be very effective. I will illustrate here by showing you a learning plan. This learning plan is an example of what could be used in your store for your cohort. Obviously, the software gives the opportunity to have many different learning plans. Cohort format practices. The follow-up. That is the final piece, but very important for us to talk. Follow-up is the ongoing assessment. Is really monitoring what's happening with the progress. And the key part is reinforcement. Really with questions, with noticing and recognizing the new behaviors or the skills or the lack of it. Hold trainees accountable for application of the new knowledge or the new skill or the new behavior. You got to promote those behaviors, because if not, they just will go away. Use a checklist. Use the proficiency review workbook that we offer. But also think about how to support and refine those behaviors. How you can build relevant application of those behaviors in your department and organization. You can also use the learning report. I will show an example of this learning report. Our LMS prints those out, and you can have an idea of what's happening with the cohort and what is really the course completion and where they are in the learning plan. Really, you need to hold people accountable and reinforce what's happening. In summary, the course and cohort formats have strengths and limitations. The key is to understand your student needs, store culture and strategy, and align the formats to produce the learning experience your organization's success demands. We have additional videos about other considerations when setting up your training program.